What's up, everybody? It's your favorite show, Get a Bucket. I'm your host, Train, as usual. Hope you're all having a wonderful, wonderful day. And as y'all can see, we got my guy Chris on the screen. Chris, what's good with you, baby?
What's good with you, Bo?
Lakers in 7. That's crazy. That's crazy. So we got to go game 7 the whole way through. That's tough, bro. That's tough. I mean, look, that's interesting. That's interesting. Maybe we'll talk about it a little later on. Maybe we'll talk about it a little later on. But look, ladies and gentlemen, here on Get a Bucket, try to do a little something different than the normal channel. So we got a little Gab trivia coming on. And what that is, ladies and gentlemen, for those of y'all who don't know, as the name sounds, Get a Bucket trivia, just Gab for short. But we're just gonna be asking a couple questions. So Chris, are you ready? All right, now these are some hard ones, I gotta say. So if you get them wrong, yeah, it's tough. I'd like to see if you get them right. So I'll be posting these every once in a while. Let's see if you can get them right. But Chris, we put you on spot. Okay, it's called Get a Bucket, and usually you got to get a bucket with some basketballs. What was the first ball that was used in the game of basketball?
Crap. I know it wasn't Wilson. It was a flavorful basketball. They used it. Somebody point up. It took out a basket. I mean, a larger basket, and they used that. I forget. I think it was a medicine ball. I think.
Okay. It's close. Just too bad this ain't horseshoes. They did have a basket back in the day. Fun fact: it was called basketball space. Like there was a basket space and then ball, but it had nothing to do with basket. They used a soccer ball actually. Fun fact.
Oh,
Yep.
oh.
It's crazy. It's crazy. Never would have known it. It's soccer ball. I don't know why they didn't call it soccer ball because they use soccer ball. But it is what it is. I appreciate the fact that they kept it with basketball. Now, still, kind of keep with the theme of the old heads, right? Back in the day, we ain't we might have upgraded since back in the day. But what was the original number of players, like the total amount of players that can be on one team back in the day? Right now it's 15, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all didn't know that. So what was that number back in the day, Chris?
I'm going with 9, but my gut's telling me 10.
Okay. Um, you shouldn't have rocked with that gut just that much. Like I
Um,
understand why you say 9, 10. Sound a little low. The game was undefined really, like what would be the appropriate number. And well, I mean, coincidentally, that's the number. It was undefined. They could have actually played with however many people they wanted to. It was supposed to be an indoor activity. So again, the actual answer was none. But but I mean, like I just wanted to throw a little, a little gas trip out there. See what happens. See what shook out.
that
Now
was
we
a
got
good
here.
one. That
You know what
was
I
a
mean?
good
You know
one.
what I mean? I thought it was pretty nice. I thought it was pretty clean.
That was a good
Now
one.
we got another one for you here, Chris. Let's see if you can get this one. Again, ladies and gentlemen, these have been some tough ones. So I ain't even knocking him on getting these wrong. Because fun fact, I got these wrong my daggone self. So Chris, um, we've seen a whole bunch of players like Kyrie, Steph Curry, like they got that boogie woogie on the court from a dribbling perspective, not just a scoring, right? They get a they can do the tweens, the behind the backs, the spin moves, all that good stuff. Well, I mean, bro, when was dribbling actually introduced to the game of basketball? Like what year,
Oh,
if you know? It's a little toughy. It's toughy. I know.
I'm going to say the 60s. Do I know which year in the 60s? Probably not. So
Okay.
I'm going to go with the 60s.
Okay. No, that's cool. That's cool. That's fine. That's dandy. You'd actually be wrong. Fun fact. Dribbling was introduced in 1897. It's kind of crazy when you think about it. Like that's a long time ago. I I'll even give you one more because it kind of builds on top of this. Okay, who was the first team credited to dribbling in 1897?
You really got to think.
You know what I'm saying? And I tell you what, because this was a tough one. This was tough. I'll even tell you this: it's not a professional team.
The Harlem Globetrotters.
No. But hey, I ain't gonna lie though. That was a really good answer. Because them boys was hey, I understand why you did that, especially when I say it wasn't technically professional. Although I guess I wonder, would the Harlem Globetrotters technically be considered professional? I gotta look more into that. They might
Probably not.
be amateur, semi-pro. But I mean, the way they be dribbling too, they could be viewed as professionals. It's kind of crazy. But the first team, the first numero uno was Yale, like the college, Yale College. It's wild, bro. Like it's so weird. Because look, back in the day too, you could only do like one dribble. And then it was like perfectly, you can only do like one dribble and you got to pass that bad boy. Like it's so disgusting how different basketball was played back then to now. Like, it's so crazy. It's so wild. But like I said,
I would never guess an Ivy League school who literally started up.
I mean, but when you think about it, it makes sense though, because them boys study everything. So I mean, hey, I can see a couple people being in the lab, be like, well, I mean, what happens if we just do an extra dribble? We think we improve our odds? Like they be doing one of them type of things. I ain't mad at Yale, but like, Yale really seemed like that type of team out there. You know what I'm saying? They got the smart back. Some, you know what I'm saying? They're talking like this every time. You hit the basketball right at the top corner. It'll actually go in like 97% of the time. You like I promise you, that's how I view it. But no, it was very surprising. Like I said, ladies and gentlemen, I did not get any of those right when I was looking them up my daggone self. So I figured y'all wouldn't either. But I mean, Chris, I had to give you those because I know you follow basketball and you're a little older than me. So I thought, maybe you might know that. There's some stuff that you know that I don't know, actually. It's kind of crazy. And that's the reason why I brought Chris onto this show. So with that being said, we're gonna go ahead and do a nice little transition on into the episode. But before we do that, we're gonna take a quick little hiatus, pay some bills real quick, maybe a couple of commercial breaks. But we come on back, we're gonna talk about the next division. We're gonna talk about the first division. We'll see which one's coming up. But Chris, thank you for participating with Gab Trivia. And ladies and gentlemen, hope you all like that segment as we transition on to the next one. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness, we got a nice little conversation. For starters, I'm a little hungry actually. That's why I got my smoothie. You gotta keep them things portable, man. Chris, what you eating on today? What you eating on today, boss?
Hold on quick.
Delicious. Strawberry, banana, a little spinach too with some peanut butter. And this protein milk, it's not bad. It's not this protein shake. I mean, it's not bad at all, ladies and gentlemen. I'm trying to tell y'all.
No.
He got his pizza. Okay, so I'm eating healthy today. He eating unhealthy. It's cool. At least on video. It's at least on video. That's fine. That's cool. That's cool. Well, look. As you can see, clearly it's balanced, right? He got the grease. I got the greens. So on this one, let's go ahead and talk about some teams because I think a lot of these, some people got a little grease, some people got a little green, some people are balanced. But let's talk about some teams, shall we? So we got the Southwest Division, Chris. I think it's best to go ahead and start off with let's go to Grizzlies, champ. Let's go to Grizzlies. Ja Morant and his return. What do you? Because we understand. Hold on, we understand he's suspended for 25 games. Luckily, so as well, because he could have been suspended for the season, especially if I was commissioner. That's another discussion for another day. With his expectation now, do you expect to see a more mature John Morant? Because granted, his issues just happened last season, right? So I don't expect a immediate turnaround. And he also showed that it can't be an immediate turnaround because there were multiple instances last season. So can we expect to see a more mature Ja Morant this season? And I asked that because I think I asked you guys last time. Would Jaren Jackson Jr. and Desmond Bain be viewed as the leader? Because they could be viewed as more mature than Ja Morant. What's your thought process on that in terms of Ja Morant and his expectations? Are we expecting to see more maturity from Ja Morant now, or he's still just going to be this immature guy that we've seen thus far?
I don't know because when he got his suspension last year, he did the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
literally, literally the same thing. So how happy the season is going to show you. Like, are you going to come back actually want to be a leader,
Mhm.
or you want to come back, or you're going to come back and literally do the same shit? And truthfully, his pops was talking at a camp.
I was about to say that.
So I don't know. As
Does
it's
him his pops talking at that camp, let's just give a little context. He was basically saying how his T Morant was saying how Ja had made stupid choices. Now, ironically, I thought some of those stupid choices pertain to your family, T, but I mean, hearing T Morant say that, it sounds like the family might be taking a little bit of ownership and trying to preach to the kids. So does that give you at least a little bit of comfort hearing that from T Morant? Or is this still more of a actions speak louder than words to you? Because we've heard John Morant and company say things like, "Oh yeah, we're taking a step back. We're going to make the positive changes." So we've heard his camp say stuff before. Now hearing T Morant say this to you at a camp, is that at least positive for you, or is it still like it's the same old, same old?
it's a mix of both.
Okay,
Now,
okay,
I will credit him for like literally had the guts and balls to like actually go to the camp and
mm,
literally talk to the youth.
mm,
But I agree with you. Like, action speaks louder than words.
yeah,
Like, we hope that this 25 games is going to make you think on your choices. Cause cause I don't know what people are saying, but the Grizzlies is one of the teams that you do not want to take lightly anymore.
yep,
Cause you had the Edgar and Grind teams, yeah, from like a decade.
yep.
This
They have
team
that
is
grit and grind factor. Yep.
a whole different type of animal.
Yeah, they had the talent, they had the experience, they have the veteran presence too. I will say Dylan Brooks being gone is interesting. Adding
Mhm.
Marcus Smart and D Rose does help for John Morant's progression going forward. But I think right now, this team, I don't want to say took a step back, but like
I
maybe
think
they
they
took a
did.
step back.
I think they did.
Granted, you lost Steven Adams last year during the playoff. Jared Jackson Jr. took a step up. We'll see how it shakes. But I think
And
John
Clark.
Morant,
And
yeah,
Clark.
but John Morant, his maturity process is quite pivotal to this team. Granted, they have a good team in place, but in order to be a contender, I think Ja's going to have to be that driving force. And
Mhm.
the off the court issues is going to take you out of contention. I mean, when you're in the
I think so.
playoffs, you get injured. We saw how critical you were. Then it's a personal matter or personal matters that take you out the game. Like
Mhm.
no one's talking about the injury. We're talking about the stupidity.
Mhm.
So I'm like you, where I'm like, I don't know. It's unknown. I'm also like you, whereas when you said hope, I'm glad you said that. I'm very optimistic. So I'm optimistic that he will turn the corner. I have high expectations for him. Because I do expect to see John Morant as a reemerged ace of the league at some point in time. Next year might be a little too early to say he
Let
reclaimed
me
that.
ask you
He's gonna
this.
earn it back. But with
Let me ask you this. Is this his last strike?
Um, last strike might be a little tough considering the fact that he's still a talent the way he is. If he messes up egregiously, yes. If he does not, and it's just like something small, something minor, no. But
Okay.
again, with a talent like his, someone's always willing to take a chance on him. So I wouldn't necessarily say this is his last strike at all. Like that is it's not like this was, and I guess this is a perfect segue or another segue to like the Rockets, for example, right? It's not like Kevin Porter Jr. made that move. So, if this was Kevin Porter Jr., okay, no disrespect to KPJ. It's just there's levels to this in the game. KPJ is a good player. He's just not the talent that John Moran is. But a young talent that the organization is still coveting for this Rockets team, Alperen Sengun, right? Last year, I saw him make a little tweak, a little jump. Do you expect to see him be more aggressive? I don't want to say he was passive last year, but I think last year could have been viewed as his coming out party. You hear people talking about Sengun being the next solid big. Like they mentioned Jokic, then Sengun is like that up and coming star. Do you expect Sengun now to be more aggressive, or do you think he'll just be more laid back, trying to pass a little bit more, trying to be more well rounded, or is he going to be more aggressive on this team? Because no one's really taken that leader reign, if you will. They did get Fred Van Fleet. Jalen Green is up there, but I mean, still
And
Sengun
Brooks.
shows
And
some.
Brooks.
Well, Brooks,
And
I wouldn't view as that leader. He wouldn't be the guy for them. I think Sengun has a much better chance. It's between Fred Van Fleet, Jalen Green, and Alperen Sengun. So, do you expect him to be more aggressive and and show himself to be the leader of this team next season?
bro, that's tough. Cause
Okay, okay.
I would never ever want to give a young star the keys to a organization that 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 have not made the finals in 20 years.
I mean, they did get close, but I do hear
It-
you on the stance
yeah,
of I don't want to give the keys to this young
I
buck.
know.
Again, good talent. Can give me a solid like
Exactly. Exactly.
8 to 10 with like five, like 4 to 5 assists, I'd say. I do like him as a player. I think he can pair well with Jalen Green and Fred Van Fleet. I think it's a little bit too soon though, just a little bit to say,
Exactly.
hey, this man is going to be an all-star. I think he's a quality starter right now. But
Mhm.
also his work ethic is going to determine what he evolves into. 'Cause, I mean, it's not like he's an immense athlete. So I think there are hurdles that he's going to have to get over. But right now he's showcasing to be a really good player. Like I on in fantasy basketball, I'm definitely trying to draft Alperen Sengun because again, he can affect multiple aspects of the game. It's similar to a Nikola
Joker.
Jokic, but I
Correct.
don't say he gonna be Jokic. I don't want to bring up Jokic too much with Sengun because he also is a little bit different as well. He's not the passer. I think he's not the scorer either. So, but time will tell though. But I do expect him to be at least a little bit more aggressive. I'm assuming he has more confidence coming into this next season. So that's what I'm expecting to see. But again, you
Because
got
you
Jalen
got
Green,
players.
you got Fred Van Fleet, Ime
Now,
Udoka
I
is
say,
new.
now you got players.
Yeah. I mean, do you does he remain in your starting five next season? I'm saying yes, easily. But I mean, Jabari Smith's there, Dylan Brooks, Jalen Green. Is there any possibility that Sengun could fall out of the rotation a little
Oh
bit?
no. Oh no.
Okay,
Oh,
okay. I was just making sure we on the same wavelength. Okay, that's
oh,
fine. It's cool. It's
oh yeah.
dandy.
Oh
Now
yeah.
let's
Absolutely.
now let's go to a little different team, right? I like these boys. Um, the Pelicans. Is this the deepest team in the NBA? Not the West, Chris. The NBA. 'Cause I mean, when we're talking about a healthy Pelicans team, matter of fact, hold on, let me pull up the Pelicans real quick. Let me see if I can pull up these pales. But like these boys have CJ McCollum, Trey Murphy, Zion, Bi, Valanciunas. Like they got a solid little starting squad. And then when you're looking at the bench, Jose Alvarado, Dyson Daniels, Herb Jones, Najee Marshall, Larry Nance Jr. They even got Cody Zeller, Jordan Hawkins, Kyra Lewis. Like, and granted, Kyra Lewis, Jordan Hawkins, they haven't done anything for, like really in the NBA. Jordan just got drafted. It's still a solid squad. And if we're talking about this healthy Pels team, they could be viewed as the deepest. I mean, they got a bevy of wings, quality stars. What's your thoughts on the Pels? Are they the deepest team in the NBA for you when healthy?
Healthy, healthy. They could be. I ain't gonna say the deepest team. I'll say they could be one of the best teams in in the whole league.
Mm,
Cause you
okay,
forgot.
okay.
Cause you forgot. CJ, he's still a bucket.
I ain't forget nothing. That's what I'm
Still a
saying, these
bucket.
boys.
Still a bucket.
Well,
Go ahead.
okay. So I mean,
Go ahead. Go ahead.
so they got CJ right, and then they got Jose Alvarado. Is that a comp? Is that a good enough like point guard, backup point guard situation to have? Because I mean, CJ, he cool. Yeah. Like, is he gonna get the job done? We think of Steph Curry's, Damian Lillard's, Jamal Murray's. Like, that's who he's gonna have to go up against. I understand we have Bi and Zion, but I mean that's who CJ's gonna have to go up against. So I mean, is that good enough for you?
I mean, he played with Dame,
He played with
and
them, but they also didn't do well, and they got swept in the one time that they were going to the Western Conference Finals. So I'm
but
like,
but but I'm glad you brought that up. People don't realize is if they could have won game 2 and game 4 on their home court, that would have been a 2-2 series right off the bat.
yeah, but we're talking about the Warriors squad without Kevin Durant too. Like they 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 got swept without Kevin Durant. You know what I'm
But
saying?
still
Like
two.
that, like that's like after they traded away Harrison Barnes and made some things shake, they beat the Blazers in the Western Conference Finals without Kevin Durant. To me, I say CJ and Dame didn't work. Now, as CJ for the point guard, he's cool, he's good defensively. I think there is a little bit of a dip for CJ, especially because he's getting older now too. But yes, like I said, I think they have good pick. They have good players, but I am curious about CJ. I like Jose's um, defensive mindedness and his hustle. Is it solid enough for me? Yeah, but would I like to have a little bit better from a point guard perspective? I might. Like I might say CP over CJ given what I have if I'm talking about them healthy. That's what I'm thinking. Like as a point guard. But I'm not mad at CJ too. I still think they can win the job. I still think they can win a championship with this team, though. It's just that might be my one knock outside of health. Outside of health. Now, transitioning on though from the Pelicans,
Please.
I wanted your thoughts about the Mavs, okay? Because we know we
Yes.
got Luca and Kyrie, right, as that duo. Is Jason Kidd on the hot seat? Because I think we had the talent, and I say we, as I'm talking about as Mavs fans right now. Think the Mavs had enough talent to get the job done. When I say to get the job done, to make it to the play-in, and they didn't. Like they failed. And you can say, well, that's because they didn't have time to gel Luca and Kyrie. Kyrie meaning is Jason Kidd now on the hot seat?
Two-part question today. If they don't make the play-in or even get into the playoffs, he's gone. The only way that kid could literally save him from getting fired is you have to go to the West Conference Finals. If you don't go to the West Conference Finals, he's gone. He's gone.
So okay, if he doesn't go to the Western Conference Finals, he's
He's gone.
gone. But if he makes the playoffs, he's still like that Western Conference Finals is a lot, bro. I'm not gonna hold you. Because you still got the Nuggets, you got the Suns, you got the Warriors, you got our Lakers. Like that's a lot. So I mean, just to say the Pelicans, even if they're healthy, like to get just to put that stipulation on it, I think might be a bit much. I think if you don't get to the playoffs or even the play-in specific, like no, yeah, playoffs. 'Cause I think you have a good enough team to get to the playoffs. If you can't get to the playoffs, I don't know what to tell you. But that's just me though. I I I I I think he's on the hot seat. I just think Western Conference Finals might be too high up there because, like I said, you got a bunch of other teams to combat that Mavericks team. And Luca's cool, Kyrie's talented. Yeah, like I don't. I'm curious what Jason Kidd's going to do, and if I see another situation where he has a talent like Christian Wood and he doesn't play him, he has a talent like JaVale McGee and he doesn't play him, and then on top of that you lose. Okay, yeah, we might have to think about getting a new coach because I'm not seeing the necessary adjustments that Jason Kidd should be doing. Like you have Christian Wood and you didn't play him for that much. Like he should have been one of your starters or averaging 30 minutes, and he wasn't. And he was hooping well enough to get that to me. So that's the reason why I say Jason Kidd should be on the hot seat. He's not utilizing his team the best way he should. So, but at least it sounds like he is just where they need to get. That sounds like where we differ. There's the only thing. So, all right, Jay Kidd, it sounds like you need to, tighten up a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Speaking of kids, though, speaking of kids, We got the Spurs. You know, we understand Wemby is their future. Well, let's put future. We got to see what happens. We got to see what shakes. Are Spurs fans too desperate to have Wemby on their team? Because I understand they haven't really had the talent. Like they had Kawhi, but then he left. You draft Timmy and David Robinson back in the day. You had 5 rings over 20 years. Like we get all that. Are they too desperate though in your eyes for getting Victor Wembanyama? Because I mean, he ain't played a game yet. So I mean, and I have a bet with somebody, a Spurs fan, that they'll have a better record than us, like my Lakers. You know what I'm saying? This season, are they too desperate for Wemby?
I don't know.
You
I
don't know.
I don't know because we haven't. I said mine is like playing minus his like Prince team playing as a playing against like the G League team, and he was only available to play in two summer league games.
Mhm.
We still don't know who he is as a b-ball player. We know him as a person, but like as like a b-ball player, we still haven't see him play yet. So I would say like they not desperate,
Mhm.
but they need a fresh light since like you say, Kawhi left. And also they were like blessed enough to have one of the best trios of all time, one of the best centers, and also an Iceman. So you tell me one other franchise, and like I said, Trey, in 20 years that has more Hall of Famers
They're a
than
well
them.
decorated organization. Yeah. I I personally say they are too desperate. Because you've had that level of success. And to
Exactly.
me, I'm like, why are we acting like you haven't been here before, you know? So again, to
Exactly.
me, I say they are too desperate. I would have loved to see them be I understand it's been a couple down years and you're projecting to have a solid future. But knowing your history, like it's like when people say, "Oh, LeBron James should be a top 10 Laker of all time." You
No.
got to understand your history. I'm not trying to get too deep on that, but you got to understand your history. You got to understand what type of program or organization you actually have. If you have a star-studded organization, that statement might be a little tough to make. And with this team, well, you got to wait and see what Victor does. But there's a good chance he doesn't even eclipse David Robinson or Tim Duncan. Like Tim Duncan doesn't get as much love from the GOAT discussion the way he should. So when I'm
Exactly.
looking at a player like Victor Wembanyama, yes, he's viewed as a good prospect. But there's another player out there like a Bol that we've seen. So yes, he's a good player, good prospect, good talent. Sure, everybody love to have him. Don't be too desperate the way y'all have been doing.
Mhm.
Again, I have a bet with someone saying that the Spurs this upcoming season will have a better record than my Lakers. Nowhere in the world. So y'all are being way too desperate, Spurs fans. Y'all got to pump the brakes. But speaking of pump the brakes, Chris, what we're gonna do is take a quick little hiatus because your Wi-Fi has been acting up this entire time too, bro. I don't know what's going on over there, but it's a nice
It's
segment, nice transition to make a little segment. We got to pay some bills, you know what I'm saying, and figure out what's going on with Chris's Wi-Fi. But when we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we'll talk about next division. I ain't gonna spoil nothing for y'all. We'll see what shakes. But yeah, we gotta get this Wi-Fi situated because this right now is looking like a Wi-Fi. I need that Wi-Fi. We need that Wi-Fi. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Listen here. We got Chris back on the screen looking nice. You know what I'm saying? You was looking a little cloudy earlier there, my boy. Like it was looking quite grainy. I'm like, damn, I hope it's not like that for the whole episode. That's tough. That's hurtful. And it's hurt too, because like the people who listen to this for the audio aspect aren't really going to understand the struggle I'm having to deal with on the editing aspect. It's like, it's tough. But you're back. I'm glad to see it. And I'm glad you're here because we got a lot to talk about for this division. So, you
yes.
know, it's a nice restart. So let's go ahead and restart with the Southwest Division. Now, I'm sorry, that's what we talked about last time. Northwest
Northwest.
Division. Yep. Now we got here some interesting teams. We're gonna kick it off with the Thunder. We're gonna kick it off with the Thunder. Um, Chet Holmgren or Jalen Williams. Which player will be more impactful for you? And then I just want to say real quick with Jalen Williams, right? Let's start with Chet. Chet Holmgren, last year's number 2 pick, missed it. You know what I mean? Like he it was tough, but we've seen what the boy can do from the summer league. He's projected to be a really solid player. Um, but then you also got Jalen Williams, who kind of performed better than what people thought. Now, this is
Mhm.
what, and I'm trying to share the screen with you, so bear with me real fast. But the brother brought up 14 points, 5 rebounds, and 3 assists on 52, 37, and 81 splits. Like that's not bad there, Chris. That's not bad at all.
That ain't bad at all.
Yeah, I you know what I'm saying? So my question is this, champ. Who you got between him and Chet Holmgren as the more impactful player next season? Chet, obviously drafted higher, right? Second overall versus Jalen's 12. But I mean, which one shakes out better for you? Because Jalen clearly did pretty well. And then when we go on the defensive aspect, 1.4 steals, point 0.5 blocks. I mean, it's nothing to scoff with. And again, he's 6'6", playing power forward.
And
That
center.
ain't bad. Yeah.
And center.
So I mean, what's your takes on that? What's your takes on them two?
Uh,
You got to give me one answer. You got to give me one answer. Chet or Jalen?
Jalen.
Jalen's more impactful. Okay. Now, what's your main reason for going Jalen?
Because he could do, because he's 6'6", he can play the 2, well 3 to 4, and now the small ball 5.
Okay.
Uh, okay. He can be another playmaker to Shay and to get it.
Okay. Okay.
Okay, cause you already got. I mean, that their squad is so young. I said so young and so deep and so many positions.
Mhm.
I would not be surprised if Jalen gets the get the starting nod, but I won't be surprised if Chet if 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 Chet do what I know he can do in preseason, he definitely going to get the starting nod. But I think
I
like
mean, you
uh,
say starting nod. All right. So let's see here. We got a solid young team. Um, Shay, obviously. Trey, Josh, Jalen, Lou. They got Victor is crazy. That's
they
helpful.
trade him.
Josh. Yeah, that's tough. They traded for him or they traded him away?
They traded for him.
That's tough. All right, you got Chet Holmgren, Jalen Williams, Davis Bertans, Poku. That's a solid little, yeah, that's a solid little roster right there. I mean, I had to list my starters off this one. Yeah, Shay, Jalen, Josh, Chet.
And Dort.
I guess Luke can get a little startsy. I guess Luke can get a little startsy. Something slight. That's not bad too, because I got a really versatile team. Because Jalen Williams and Lou Dort, they're the defensive minded players. Josh and Shea are the offensive minded players, and then Chet is supposed to be a solid combo of the two. So
Mhm.
now, when I got those players in mind, well, you're not looking too bad. That's a solid, balanced team. Going back to that whole pizza and smoothie category, balance is the way to go for this organization because they have a nice young squad. I just think from a standpoint, Chet might be more impactful. He's going to be the big man for them. Yes, Jalen Williams has shown to guard fives, right? But I think Chet will be that big man for him. Like maybe not post presence like a Joel Embiid or Rudy Gobert was proclaimed to be, but his length ain't nothing to scoff at. And
No,
offensively,
it's
I
not.
think he's potent. I think he's potent enough, and he's going to pair nicely with Shea and Josh. So, and because he can stretch the floor out, at least he's projected to stretch the floor out enough. I think that opens the floor up for OKC. So now Jalen Williams can cook and drive to the basket. Now Shea has more spacing for the squad. So I think it's going to be Chet as the more impactful player. Even though Jalen is very impactful themselves, they have a really strong young core of four players right now to build off of. So OKC, very, very good team. People don't sleep on OKC at all. You will miss out on some things. But a team that some people now feel like they might sleep on because of the situations that they in. And it's kind of heartbreaking to see this. But the Blazers, right? I think people kind of view them as a team you can sleep on. And I think one reason why you think you might be able to sleep on them is this man Yusuf Nurkic, bro. Like he is so underwhelming to me. Like matter of fact, I have to pull up his splits or his stats just when I say that because I mean you can't just make a statement like that and then not have anything to back it up, right? But like he to me, I think that's Portland's main issue. While I'm pulling up his stats, Chris, what's your take on someone like Yusuf Nurkic for the Portland Trailblazers? Is he someone that's good to you? Like, where do you rank Yusuf Nurkic for you? Like, how do you view him?
Well, backtrack. Some of the NBA heads don't know Jerkins was behind who? The Joker in Denver. So when they shifted the Joker, I said when it said Jerkins to Portland, they already knew Joker was going to be their center.
Mhm,
Portland thought of the same thing with Jerkins,
mhm.
and it haven't pan out that way because
At all.
it's either he's been hurt or he be giving us dog shit at performance in the playoffs.
Yep. Now let's pull up his. Got to pull up his stats. 13 last season, so he improved his scoring. Improved. Um, gave you 9 rebounds, 3 assists. All right, cool. And then gave you 52, 36, 66 splits. That's not bad. All right, like that it could be worse. Now, from a defensive standpoint, though, we have here point 0.9 steals, 1.2 blocks. It's not the worst. I'd want to see a little bit better, but again, that's what you're gonna get out of Nurkic. So I mean, I can't really say, oh, that's like that's that's under. It's not expected. And that to me hurts because when I look at this Blazers team, matter of fact, let's pull up the Blazers squad while I think about it. When I look at this Blazers team, we had a competent team where honestly, you have a solid big man to guard combo, you can do something. Like the Nuggets just showed you what you could work with, what you could look like with a quality MVP level player, which Damian Lillard could be, and then a solid complementary player, which is what Yusuf Nurkic was hopefully hoping to be. And like I got Dame, I got Anthony Simons, Matisse Thybulle was playing some good ball. Shaden Sharp showed you he was developing real nice. Um, they had GP2 for a little bit. Like Cam Reddish was giving you solid minutes, 13. No, yeah, he was like 13 points something like that for a little while. Nazir Little from your UNC Char Hill was giving you 10. Like everybody
House,
across the board was doing well. You even had Josh Hart for a little bit. Um, like to me, bro, it's like Kevin Knox was. No, I'm not gonna bring that up. Jeremy Grant was cool. Yusuf Nurkic. They had the Portland Trailblazers, by my estimation, have enough to replicate what the Nuggets had. Because again, the Nuggets MVP was Jokic. Well,
mhm,
the MVP for the Blazers would have been
Dame,
Dame. So
right?
if I have a fringe all-star big man, the way Jamal Murray was, because remember Jamal Murray was coming off injury, ladies and gentlemen. So I say fringe all-star. He didn't get all-star consideration, but fringe all-star because we recognize there are some good players fringe all-star. If that's what you have for Portland, well, I wholeheartedly think Jeremy Grant can replicate, maybe not as a backup center, but he can replicate what Aaron Gordon did. Like
Mm-hmm.
you have pieces on that team. Maybe you don't get rid of Josh Hart because your team's rolling, and we saw what Josh Hart did for the Nuggets. So you mean tell me that's not
I
what
mean,
the
the
Nuggets
Knicks.
had? No, I mean, yeah, for the Knicks. So you mean tell me that's not what they had, what the Nuggets had in Bruce Brown? Really?
Mm,
Cool. Like
mm.
Portland had success. It's just Yusuf Nurkic is underwhelming. So until we get that fixed, which he's on the books for about 3 seasons, which again, I mean, if we bring up his stats one more time, what was it? Like 12, no, 13, 9, and then in 3. Normally, those aren't too bad stats. Like you can live with those from your big. But
I
like
mean,
Jamal
bro.
Murray was giving like 17. Like how much was Jamal giving? I feel like I still have his stats up.
I
Like
mean,
Jamal
bro.
Murray was giving solid buckets.
Bruh. And what you gotta realize is he was backing up now the MVP of the league.
But
If you
he,
want to
but he's
go ahead.
that don't even matter. He's not backing him up now. And like you could Yusuf Nurkic, right? 13, 9, 3.
That's
Then
not
when we
bad.
it's not, but remember though, I said Dame is being compared to
Jamal.
Jokic. No,
Okay.
Jokic, because they're MVP caliber players. So this is what Yusuf Nurkic has to do. He has to give me around 24 and 6, something comparable like that for a big man. Which again, if we're looking at Yusuf Nurkic, I don't think what Jamal Murray currently has is better than what Yusuf. I don't think Yusuf Nurkic. I don't think what Yusuf Nurkic eclipses Jamal Murray's. Like 13, 9, and 3 with like zero point 0.9 and 1.2 as a 6'11 big man, the main big man on your team, it doesn't eclipse Jamal Murray, especially when he pairs so well
With
with Dame. I
Jokic.
mean, with Jokic. I don't think Nurkic pairs so well with Damian Lillard. Like to me, Damian Lillard is dragging Nurkic. Yeah, Damian Lillard is dragging Nurkic, and Jamal Murray is helping Jokic. That's the difference. So until we get that switch up,
I agree.
I would not want to have Nurkic as my main big. I would try my hardest to flip him for someone like a Miles Turner. But that's another discussion for another day. I was just curious with thoughts about the man Nurkic. I ain't want to slander him too badly. Not
I
kind of
mean,
getting off that.
he's not a bad player. Don't get it switched. He's not a
Not a bad
bad
player.
player.
He's just not the best and not what
But
you
I
want.
agree with you. I
Yeah,
I agree with you. Like
yeah, exactly.
he alone is literally holding back Portland from like literally contending and now a more powerful West.
Yeah.
If you're talking about Portland being in the East, fair
Mhm.
game.
Yep.
But you in the West with a whole lot of dogs that you got to deal with on a nightly basis.
And right now, the game is structured where bigs aren't as prep. Don't get me wrong. Everybody wants a good big. Nobody has a lot of teams don't have elite bigs. When we think of elite bigs, we're talking about Jokic. We're talking about Joel Embiid. Carl Anthony
Right?
Towns gets slandered so badly. Sabonis is back in the mix now.
The Triple
There's a
J,
small window where the
the Triple
bigs
J.
are. Yeah, yeah. So like there's a small window where you have an ability to have a to be respected as a big because he's not the best player. He's not the best big, but you can be viewed as one of the better bigs because of the timing and who your team is. So Nurkic, this is the time for you to step up that mantle. But speaking of stepping up that mantle, I want to get your thoughts. We're going to transition. We've been talking too much about the Blazers now. I don't want to give them. I didn't want to talk too much about Nurkic. Um, I'm gonna switch it over to the Jazz, the Utah Jazz. They've been very surprising. Last year, I think the biggest surprise was Lauri Markkinen, and giving you 26, 9, 2.6 steals and blocks on 50, 39, and 88 splits, playing in 66 games. Chris, that's nothing to scoff at. Do you expect Lauri Markkinen to have a repeat performance?
It's a mixer. It's a mix of
Mm,
both. The only reason why is I understand he was in Chicago, that didn't work out. I understand he was in Cleveland, that didn't work out. He needs to go to a spot where he can be the man. Now, I'm not gonna lie, it caught me off guard when he was an all-star back in Utah. But I would be shocked if he had another but more and better season this year.
okay.
I think that he going to do good,
Mhm.
but I would be shocked if he had another season like that.
Okay, now let's pull up his stats real quick because again, I gave you all his stats overall, right? Now, looking at Laurie, we have here, and I rounded up, it's 25.6 with 26.92 on 50, 39, 88 splits with the defense the way it was, point six across the board for steals and blocks. Now, if you're looking at his stats, right, which again, stats aren't everything. I think last season was more so about him coming out, gaining that confidence, if you will, right?
Mhm.
So, because if you look at his numbers now, all right, well, 25, 20, that's cool. But he was giving me 19 his second season. Folks don't remember that. Like, folks don't remember we had 19, 9, 1.4, most steals, same blocks, like that. So he's been here around before. And he's about, how old was he at that point in time? 21. So now we're talking about a 25-year-old Lauri Markkinen. So if you're asking me, do I think he's going to repeat his performance 26, 9, 2? Yes. Like, yes.
Really?
Especially with who the hell is on Utah right now? Realistically. Like, look at the roster they had last season,
To what they
and we were
got now.
surprised. You have Colin Sexton. All right, that's cool. Frank Jackson. I don't remember when he. I do not remember when Frank was actually on the team. That's crazy. But all right, Colin Sexton. Chris Dunn played
I
well.
think I
Hold
think
on, hold on. Let me. I don't even care if Frank Jackson's on the team. Like Taylor Horton Tucker. No, no, seriously. I'm only talking about players who are actually getting burned. Like Jordan Clarkson. Abaji got some burn. Toscano Anderson got a little tick. Um, Laurie, obviously, like Walker Kessler, like these players got burned. Who's better than Laurie Markkinen on that team right now? The only person who's even comparable is
it's
Jordan
Walter.
Clarkson.
Okay,
No,
okay.
no, no. I'm talking about Clarkson. Like
Oh, Clark.
that's the only yeah, that's the only person that I can say, you know what, maybe he's a little bit better than him. So like, or not maybe a little bit better. Maybe he's on parish with Laurie, but still it's Laurie's for the taking easily. So unless they bring in somebody big name, I don't expect Laurie to take a drop off. Even with folks studying Laurie the way he like with a whole season worth of footage. Because what if again going back to what he done before? Yes, these numbers look a little low in comparison. Cleveland, you're in the, that's your first time with the team. It's a little different. And I want to say you had Clarkson, you had Sexton on that squad too. So you
Mhm.
got Sexton, you got Garland, you got two trigger happy point guards. Garland is a pass first point guard, but you got him and Sexton leading the help. Of course, he's gonna be at the lower ranks, and then they got a battle with Jared Allen, like who's a rim protector who pairs well with them. So now you got to play a stretch four or you got to like be on the perimeter a lot more. That's tough. Chicago, you get a whole bunch of random players. Zach Levine's on your squad, a couple other players. You lose a little bit of confidence because now some new All Star on your team. He has that confidence now, so I expect him to have that repeat performance. But we're gonna have to wait and see what happens with Lauri Markkinen and that Jazz team because they are kind of interesting to watch for me personally.
I
But
mean, they got I say they got some real good rookies this year. So
yeah, but do you expect those rookies to cut into his production?
probably not.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. From a green light perspective, Laurie should be able to repeat his performance. Like if you start bringing in additional players, maybe his production drops. But like I could very well see Laurie getting another All Star nod this season. because I could see the Utah Jazz being in that playoff hunt. And because of that, and the Utah Jazz
Play in
fan
or
base,
play off?
it's tricky. I'd say fringe playoff, but like play in hunt, play
Okay.
in hunt. They were ahead of the pack along like early on in the season. That was because two injuries happened. So unless a whole bunch of injuries happen again and they aren't injured, they should be in that play in race. But we'll see how that one shakes. Now another team we got to talk about, the Wolves, the T Wolves. Um, Mike Conley, right? Is he going to be the next Kyle Lowry? And when I ask that statement, when I make that statement, I mean because, well, Kyle Lowry is one older than Mike Conley. But Kyle Lowry, I feel like, got a little bit of a career resurgence when he left the Raptors and went to the Miami Heat. Because now, well, he was a big part of that Heat team getting back to the finals. I mean, they were quite stout with him coming off the bench, being a vital role this past season. But last season, want to say he started for them and was getting some quality production. Well, if you look at Lowry's production over the last two seasons, he brought in 12 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.1 steals, zero point 0.3 blocks, and 42, 36, 85 splits over 118 games out of 164 games that he could have played. Mike Conley is giving you 13 points, 3 rebounds, 6 assists, 1.2 steals, zero point 0.3 blocks on 43, 40, 82 splits and he's played 139 out of 164 possible games over the last two seasons. He's 35 years old. So hearing those numbers, seeing Mike Conley and seeing what you saw from Kyle Lowry, also recognizing the fact that hey, bets are actually a commodity in this league right now. So knowing that, does that bode well for someone like the Timberwolves thinking that Mike Conley is going to be the next Kyle Lowry? Because you have Edwards, who's probably about to take another jump in the NBA. You have Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert, who are both playing with the chip on their shoulders this season, especially when you look at how much they take up in terms of contract space. So, do you expect Mike Conley to play the way Kyle Lowry did over the last two seasons, and that'd be beneficial for the Wolves?
Bruh, that like I was like sleeping on that question back and forth all night. And I love Kyle.
Mhm.
But want to put him as the next Kyle Lowry, that's tough.
I mean,
That's
but is it though? Because like, all right, so let's bring up. I mean, because again, when we say the next Kyle Lowry, I just want to reiterate this is not talking about careers. I don't know why okay, great. So I'm not talking about careers. I'm literally just talking about overall the last two seasons. These two, like these two. Because remember, he played in Toronto. And so now these last two seasons, he starts 63 games out of 63. Next season, 55 games played, 44 he starts. And he's giving you solid production across the board. Remember, 13 year one, 11 year two in terms of points. 7.5 assists year one, 5 year two. And this is off the bench essentially because towards the playoffs he was coming off the bench. But that's a solid role. If we're looking at, well, Mike Conley, I think Mike Conley might be a little bit more efficient. And remember, he got traded from Utah midseason to Minnesota. So without even really getting a full like off season to train with these boys, plus you get a little bit more experience, Karl Anthony Towns. You get a little bit more experience, Anthony Edwards, a more hungrier Anthony Edwards, and a Rudy Gobert who has something to prove. I think Mike Conley could take on that Mike Lowry role or Kyle Lowry role. I'm sorry, not Mike Lowry, Kyle Lowry role. Same bad boys, and really help lead this Minnesota team. Be that savvy vet who also can play big minutes in certain moments, hit key shots in certain moments. And I think we're going to see a different Wolves, not because of Mike Conley, but partly because of Mike Conley. So that's why I say, is there a comparison between him and Kyle Lowry specifically over the next 2 seasons. Do I say finals for the Wolves? Not necessarily, but from a leadership perspective, yeah, I can see that. Especially when he bringing in about 20% of the cap this year. Like, yeah, you gotta bring in something, champ. Like, you got to. So that's why I'm saying I'm expecting to see a little bit of a boost out of Mike Conley. I expect to hear Mike Conley's name thrown about a couple times. So that's
I
my
agree. I agree with that.
okay. I got you. Now we got for the final team before we transition on to the next segment, ladies and gentlemen. We got the Denver Nuggets. We talked about them before. We got Nikola Jokic and Jamal Murray. Is this duo going to redo what they did before? Because right now people are talking about, hey, this could be the best duo in the NBA. And I'm not mad at them, but when I also look at, well, Jokic with Jamal Murray, he's giving me 20 points, 11 rebounds, 7 assists. And Jamal Murray with Jokic is giving me 17 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Ironically, though, I just want a fun fact. Without Murray, Jokic gives you 26, 12, and 8. Understandably so, right? You got to have more utilization. And with Murray, he has 16, 4, and 4. Now, that's with 23 games for Murray and then, 129 games for Jokic, where they played without the other. Those are the stats without the other. But this duo has shown to be quite promising when they play together. So do you expect them to continue this success, or do you feel like people are going to figure them out soon now that we got a full season worth of tape on them?
I think they I think their play is just going to take it to a whole nother level. I mean, a whole nother level. Trey, hear me out. Hear me out. You went through Minnesota. You went through Oklahoma, a Phoenix team without KD. I mean, with KD, without KD, whatever. Then you sweep all Lakers. I will say this again. You sweep LeBron and AD.
Yeah.
I mean, and then you went to the finals and you literally defend and you literally beat a rugged, tough, hard-nosed, physical Miami team in 5 games. You can go higher from here. You
But
cannot
okay,
go
you
back down
you
low.
you
You
say
can
that
go
you
higher
say
from
that you say that, but hear me out though. 3 out of those 4 teams you listed off were injured. Like the
exactly.
Wolves, they were injured. The Suns, they were injured. The Lakers, our Lakers, like, all right, fine, we were healthy, but we also just got put together not too long ago, too. So we didn't really have no chemistry right there. And then the Heat, they didn't have Tyler Hero. So, I mean, every team, granted, injuries are part of the game. We do understand that. Every team was injured. And when you say that you expect them to elevate their play, they're going to do better in terms of that duo. Like, all right, let's again. I just want to say, with Jamal Murray and them, like Jamal gave me solid production, right? Like 20 points, 4 rebounds, 6 assists. And then even when we kick it off to the playoffs, like it gets a little disgusting. You know what I'm saying? Like, all right, cool, I hear it. 26 points, 7 assists, 6 rebounds. The splits are kind of discussed, like 47, 39, 47, 40, and 93 splits. That ain't bad. That's not bad.
It ain't
And then
bad.
when you look at Jokic, all right, cool. Like we saw for the season, 25, 12, 10 on 63, 39, or 33, 82 splits. And then even on the playoff side, the brother went up and basically averaged like 30. And a 30 point triple double. Like that ain't bad at all. I hear you. I really do. But to elevate it though, like I feel like some people gonna figure some stuff out. Maybe you can blitz a little bit more. Maybe you can force Jokic to
You
try to
should
score
blitz
a
them.
little bit more. You should blitz a little bit. I think there are gonna be some interesting teams, some interesting situations to be thrown at this Nugget squad. And yes, they both look like complete players. They both look, at least on offense, they both look like they can score at all 3 levels. I think if you tire them boys out, it's going to get a little tricky because they're not the physical freaking natures that other players are. That is an advantage other players do have, and you can capitalize on that. I'm not saying that's always going to win. Certain players have good enough IQ mixed with athleticism. They should be able to beat that Nuggets team. So I do think the Nuggets will improve. I just don't think it's going to be because of this duo. I do think the duo will be formidable. I just think MPJ is what the Nuggets are going to need to, you know, get over that next hump, if you will. It's not going to be use this same old dog and pony trick because eventually folks are going to figure it out. You want to keep adding to what you got and not keep reusing the same thing. So that's why I say I expect them to do well. If you say redo from a championship standpoint, no. You say redo in terms of a dominance, will they remain in the top 5 duo? Yes. The best duo, I don't know about. We have to see about D Book and KD how they look.
Or
Hell,
Bill.
Steph. It's going to be a big two that we talk duos right now, so I got to see that one. I don't think it's going to be Beal. I think it'll be D Book and KD. Steph and Clay maybe, or Steph and Dre. Who knows? Or I mean, Steph and CP3. That don't sound right, but we gotta see. There are other talents. Hell, even our boys. We might be able to have we might be able to boast the best duo, JB and JT out there. A whole bunch of options. So we got to see what shakes. But they are looking kind of nice. So I wanted to make sure I talked about that duo. But ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, what we're gonna do is take a quick little hiatus. I don't know if y'all been tracking, but we're gonna talk about another division coming up soon. You can probably guess it if you want to. But yeah, we'll see what shake. Right now, we will pay some bills, take a quick little bathroom break, whatever you want to. When we come back, we'll talk about another division. So thank y'all for joining so far. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. As y'all can see, I got a little smile on my face because we gonna talk about a solid little division. We got the Pacific, you know what I mean? That's where the boys is, you know what I mean? So let's go ahead and bring up the division. But we're not gonna start it off though with us. We're gonna be respectful and pay our due diligence to the other teams. I do a little due diligence for the other teams as well. Chris, I want to talk about the Kings. Now, there's a wonderful gentleman by the name of Keegan Murray, right? And then you know what? I've been doing this for a little second. Let me do this a little earlier. Keegan Murray, you know what I mean? Got drafted last year, 4th overall. Not bad at all. He gave you 12 points, 5 rebounds, rounding up, 1 assist. Here's the crazy thing, though. 45, 41, 77 splits. That 41% from 3, ridiculous. Like, he made the most threes in NBA history as a rookie. So I'm like, all right, we got a solid little prospect over here. And then not to mention, all right, let's see here. We got 0.8 steals, 0.5 blocks as a 6'8" wing. That's not bad, especially when it's his first year. Clearly made the all rookie team. What are you expecting for Keegan Murray this season in terms of him taking that leap? Like what are your expectations for him this season? And again, just to reiterate, ladies and gentlemen, he gave you 12, 5, and 1 on 45, 41, 77 splits. So that's not bad. What's your thoughts, Chris?
Now, is he going to take that Ant Edward next week? I want to say that. But could I see him improving his game a little bit more? Absolutely. You got
when you say improving his game a little bit more, because again, he's a 3-and-D player, but when you're playing on the team when you're playing on the team with De'Aaron Fox, Domantas Sabonis, hell, even Harrison Barnes, Malik Monk, Kevin Huerter, there's only so much basketball is on the court. And he got drafted 4th, so I'm assuming the team would want him, handling the rock a little bit. But like, what do you realistically expecting to see from him though? Like, improve his game in what way that you can actually see it on the court? Because he has 2 playmakers already, 3 if you count Malik Monk.
4 you want to count the Barnes, but I'm just
No, I wouldn't put Barnes as a playmaker. I would say Herter over Barnes personally.
okay.
Like Barnes is more of a scorer, more of a shooter, more of your versatility defender. And right now I think they have that, and also Keegan Murray as well. So I mean that like what can he actually have? What can he actually do on this court that's ideal for the Kings?
Being more a two-way play.
But when you say that though, again, he shoots a three. Like to me, he's already a good enough two-way player. Like, can he improve? Yes, but that's every player. So when you say you said he needs to improve his game, like what's one thing you're expecting or you want to see him improve specifically? Because again, when you say two-way, I don't know if that's fair because I think he's already a solid two-way player.
Mm, I would say average. I mean, what you did as a rookie is not bad, but I would say to get into that 15, 16 points per game range.
Okay, okay,
That's
I got
where that's where I want him. That's what I want him to see at.
you. Okay, so but
See it. But like other than that, he's good. He's good. But if he could get like a little bit more points,
mhm.
he'd be straight.
Okay. I mean, you said 3 extra buckets, but then you say he's good. So it sounds like so it sounds like there's no real big expectations in terms of him taking that leap. It should be the status quo, maybe a couple extra points per se. So it sounds like a bucket, maybe 2 extra, maybe an extra trip to the free throw line, but you're not looking to see him do too much
Uh,
more outside of what he's done. Okay, that's fine. I got you. I got you then. Um I mean, like I said, I just wanted to make sure we showed the Kings a little love because they did improve last season, and I do expect Keegan Murray to have a little bit more focal point on him this season. Just because when I look at Keegan Murray, I see someone who could be a defensive leader. And when I heard Mike Brown on AMP, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, if y'all want to hear me on AMP as well, I do go up there typically. I'll let y'all know when I'm back on AMP. But when I heard Mike Brown on AMP, he was saying how he wants his team to be more defensive minded as well as maintaining that offensive rating and all that
right.
offensive rate. And I'm like, the offensive pace. I'm sorry, and I'm like, that sounds a little tough. Like you might burn your legs out, champ. You might get out in the first round again because y'all are going to be fatigued. But someone like Keegan Murray, if he can set that tone early on for them from a defensive standpoint, I think now that's how you take that leap, if you will, because you have De'Aaron Fox, you have Domantas Sabonis, you have players on your team who can score. Where do you need to fit in best? What's the biggest hole for your team? And I think it is that defense. And I think it is that defensive void. So that's what I'm looking for him to be. Excuse me, my fault. My dad on computer about that. But that I do expect him to take that big jump next season from a defensive standpoint. Yeah, yeah, I expect him to see. I expect to see him take that. Oh my god, I expect to see him take that jump next season from a defensive standpoint. So that's what I'm looking to see from Keegan Murray and the Kings specifically. But we're gonna keep it pushing, and we're gonna move it down to the Warriors, ladies and gentlemen, because we understand, Chris. They got a lot of things to talk about. Like CP3 did just get traded there. We can talk about Jordan Poole, though we've already talked about that before. So those videos are already out. My specific question is this: Steph Curry, who gonna be his help next season? Because when we had last year, well, Clay, we were expecting him to do a little bit different. Andrew Wiggins, we were expecting him to play. Neither really happened for us the way we were expecting, especially after they had just won the finals. So, who do you expect to see as the number 2 next season? Should it be Wiggins, Clay? Hell, will Draymond surprise you? Is it CP3? Like, who is that number 2 for you next season?
Until Clay hangs it up, it's still going to be Clay. Until Clay hangs it up, it's still going to be Clay.
I'm gonna be honest with you, champ. In the finals, it was Andrew Wiggins, respectfully. So, when you say until Clay, like
Like
I
I
don't
said,
know. I don't
until
know.
until he hangs it up, it's still gonna be Clay. I
Okay, so
love
then
Wiggins. I say like I love Wiggins. If it wasn't for Draymond, they would not have them titles. So I give you that. But until Clay hangs it up, it's still gonna be Steph and Clay.
it's still Steph and Clay, but for me, I ain't gonna hold you. I don't think it's Clay as the number two. Again, we're talking about career, well decorated, right? Well decorated. Last
And a Hall
season
of
he
Fame.
gave last season he gave 22 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists on 44, 41, 88 splits. That's not bad. So I mean, I hear you from a standpoint of he cool. Um, he missed last season, or he missed like 2020 and 2021. So, the season after that, he was a little rusty. And then this season, he played 69 games out of 82. When I look at Wiggins, though, like this brother here, respectfully, again, career wise, it goes Klay Thompson. Last season, he gave 17, 5, 2, 47, 40, 61 splits. So, I mean, it's the defensive tenacity and versatility that he brings. Like this 1.2 and point 0.8 steals and blocks don't really show what Andrew Wiggins actually does for this team. So when I'm looking at Andrew Wiggins, and then even in the playoffs, like he was their second guy for me. Like not necessarily Clay. And it's crazy because if I look up Clay's numbers right now, his numbers could be actually higher in the second round or in the playoffs. Let me see. Yeah, they were higher. But what also does it for me is the fact that I don't think Clay brought the same level of defensive tenacity the way he did. So that's what I'm saying. I got Clay going on as I got Wiggins going on as Steph's number two. Clay cool. But I think this Warriors team is really gonna pop when Wiggins is number two, Clay is number three. That's when they had their best personally. But I didn't I ain't want to harp on them too much. You said Clay, I say Wiggins. I understand Splash Brothers, their history, it makes sense. I just think right now, point in time, it should go to Wiggins. But um speaking of number twos, right? I think we've looked at our Lakers as having a big two. Um, Anthony Davis, he's not leaving the Lakers, just re-signed with us for about 3 seasons. I'm gonna ask you this, and I'm putting you on the soapbox. Do you feel like we're gonna regret re-signing Anthony Davis? Because that's a lot of money for someone who's in and out of lineups quite often. It's a lot of money for someone who, well, if you want him to be the guy, he might not be the guy. So he got to prove it to Laker fans that he is. So I mean, what's your thought process on the Lakers extending Anthony Davis as a Laker fan? Will you regret this?
Damn, you really did put me in the box. Um, I have like mixed feelings for that. Um, if he, see, I'm torn because I want my man to get paid, but at the same time, all we really is paying for somebody that who's literally been injury prone ever since he got to the Lakers. When we were at our best, we gave everything was going through AD. And this year, I want everything to go through AD again. I mean, a healthy, healthy AD. I understand Bron is Bron. No disrespect, Bron. But if you really want to go far, especially in the juggernaut Western Conference as we got, you have to go through AD. And hopefully pray to God that the money and him staying healthy can go can go hand in hand. Because I ain't gonna lie, bro. This might be our second to last chance of literally getting a title this year. I think this might be Braun's last run.
Okay. And so
That might
real
be
quick, you
this might be
said real quick, Chris, you said that this might be the second to last chance to winning a title this year. Um, Out of curiosity, what do you mean by that? And I apologize if you were starting a little bit too. My headphones kind of disconnected. But like,
you
what
good,
do you
you
mean
good.
by this? What do you mean by this our second to last chance? Because personally, I actually foresee LeBron James leaving after this season. Us, me, um, and it being Anthony Davis and company. So I don't imagine this being our second to last chance. I think last year was our second to last chance. So what's your thought process on like why do you say it's our second to last chance this season?
I'm gonna say last chance. The main reason why I
Oh,
say last chance because Braun don't have that much mileage left in his tank. And I agree with you. I think that he wants to leave. He wants to leave LA. He wants to
okay.
he's going to leave LA. Then that means AD is going to be the man.
But
So
when you also said too you regret AD leaving, I kind or not leaving, I'm kind of on that fence of do I regret or not. Um so like and I've been thinking about this too, 'cause I don't want to come off as too spoiled, right? Who the hell else would we get if we don't have Anthony Davis? Like,
that's
who
true.
else is coming to the Lakers right now? I do remember a point. Don't get me wrong. I do think, oh, well, it's the Lakers organization. Who wouldn't want to play for the Lakers? Well, I mean, we have rich history. We have a bunch of championships. Like it's a championship pedigree organization, bro. That's a lot of success that's come with it. That also might scare away players. Like I know for a fact, a lot more players should have wanted to play for the Knicks and haven't because of the gravity that it brings on top of the organization looking ignorant for a large part of my lifetime. But people should have wanted to play for the Knicks, so it's not as easy as it used to be just grabbing players. Like it was a little bit before we did get someone to come to our squad. So I should we really regret do you feel like we're being too spoiled because we feel like we're regretting this Anthony Davis extension? Because
Oh,
potential wise, he's
absolutely.
still top. He's a top five potential player in the NBA.
Right. Absolutely. We've been spoiled. Not even going to stunt, bro. Not even going to stunt, bro. We've been we've been spoiled.
I mean, but is it? I guess to me, I don't think it's necessarily us spoiled, but at the same time, I recognize yes, we have been given a lot of favoritism. I
Right.
just don't want to say I don't want to quite say spoiled. Maybe it's biased, but I will say if we didn't get like if we lose Anthony Davis, I'm okay with retooling, if that makes sense. Like I'm okay with trying to have going through that deload period again, if you will. Like that would like that's okay. Because as long as we have a plan in place and we are clearly getting better,
But
I'm
but
cool. I'm
but we
cool.
don't have I said but our picks we have and the Pelicans got.
Well,
So
but we would have to trade Anthony Davis to a team that had picks that needs Anthony Davis or could use Anthony Davis. Like trying to think who could have actually used Anthony Davis. Hell, Shea and AD could have made something shake.
you took the words right out of my mouth. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Like that could have made something shake. Or nah, 76ers don't got enough. I'm sorry. And neither do the
Miami?
Heat. Neither do the Heat. Who?
Miami?
No, I said the Heat don't either. Like I wouldn't want the same issue the Heat had with Portland is the same issue they're gonna have with us. Unless they coughing up Bam Adebayo, I
And
don't
Tyler.
expect that to happen. So like, nah, dog. Like, I don't see too many. I don't even know too many teams that I would really want to make trades with right now.
Brooklyn?
It's talking about going. Who am I getting back for? Like I need if I'm getting Anthony Davis back, I actually need like a solid star. Because again, this is a top 5 potential player. Health and his level of aggression is the main reason why he's not in my top 5. And it was hard. It was kind of hard taking him out of top 10. It was just the health factor for the top 10. So top 10, if he's healthy, or if he's healthy, he possible top 10. And then if he's aggressive, possible top 5. I need something back for that. Like I need something back for that. I need Giannis to be like, you know what, I'm out. And then the Bucks looking at AD to be like, you know what, we can make something work with that young man. Like we really truly could.
But
Or
that means,
Vincent.
but that means you have to face Joel 3 times.
That's their problem. That's their problem, not ours. That's their problem, not ours. I'm okay with that. But I will say this too, though: the Nets could be a little interesting if they are willing to part ways with Mikal Bridges and Ben Simmons if Ben Simmons returns back to form. But I think that's an improbable task because both of them brothers are younger than AD. So again, there's only very few places that we could go. That's why I was asking: are we spoiled? But at the same time, should we still regret the AD extension? Like I kind of regret the AD signing, but that's because of how much talent we let go of to get him. So now we got to talk about the extension as well. But we'll see how it shakes, though. We'll see how it shakes. I ain't want to harp on our boys too much, but we got some more basketball to talk about because we got here um the Clippers. The Clippers. Listen, you know what I mean? LA Clippers out here. They doing big things. They doing good things until you reach the playoff time, I guess. Like they entertaining throughout the regular season. In the playoffs, they just falter for whatever reason, you know? So that begs the question. Tyronn Lue. Ty Lue is some of them call him. Should, is he going to get clipped after this season if they don't win? Like let's say they lose in the first round. Like should he get the boot? And I guess another way of asking this is Ty Lue on the hot seat this season?
He's 1,000% on the hot seat.
That's
Not
hot seat.
Trey. I'm sorry. I'm not going to give up the bubble 3-1 massacre against Denver. 3-1, whatever. Okay. You had opportunities without Kawhi to made it to the Western Conference Finals. Come on, bro. Come on. I understand they love to beat us. Cool, fine, then. But you telling me you got two of the best two-way players of all time in Kawhi and PG.
Of all time is aggressive. Of all time is aggressive.
Kawhi, yes. PG, he's PG. You got Brody. You got pieces there.
So when you say pieces there, though,
you got pieces there.
Nah, but okay, but look, hear me out, right? Because you're talking about they got pieces there, but Chris, his pieces were injured, so were they really there? Like, you feel me? Like, let's go down the road. Okay. So, like, we got here Kawhi. The brother puts up really solid stats, a decorated career, two-time D point is scary. All right, two-time Finals MVP. The man is special, ladies and gentlemen. But like 24, 74, 51, 42, 87 splits is disgusting. 50 games, Chris. 50 games. That's how much this brother played. Then when we look at this man, Paul Rondavius George. No, that's not his middle name, but like it just sounded better. We got here. It's actually Clifton Anthony. Actually, who knew? Paul Clifton Anthony George. Yeah, PG-13 sounds a lot better. Young Trace, Batman, Playoff P. He brings up 24 points, 6 rebounds, 5 assists on 46, 37, 87 splits. Again, that's not bad. A solid career. That brother only played 56 games. And the year before that, he played 31. And then the man Kawhi, that brother missed a whole year. So, like, I got it, like again, we got, like, both of them combined. If you combine PG in 2022 and Kawhi in 2023's games played, that would actually equal. They would be one more game than Mikal Bridges this past season. And that brother had 83 games. So if they in 2 seasons get one game more than Mikal Bridges did in one, can we really put Ty Lue on the hot seat? You gonna get out the Bic and put it underneath the seat? Yeah, that's what you're gonna do. You getting the Bic lighter and put it underneath the seat? That's what you're doing, Chris. That's what you put my man's on the hot seat like that for real. He done already got stepped over by AI. Now you gonna do him dirty like this? That's so trifling. He been the scapegoat for Cavs because of LeBron and them. You know what I'm saying? Like, oh, he's gotta be Tyron. Tyron Lue not a good coach. And now he goes to the Clippers. He did well. And look, I'm one of those people who said, hey, maybe Tyron Lue is a little overrated. But now you say he on the hot seat. You still standing true with that statement?
Yes. Bruh, it's Western Conference or Finals or bust. If you're not gonna give me either one of them two, he got to go.
So what if his team's in? Okay, so what if PG and Kawhi get injured again? Would that be the only way would that be the only way he stays on the team for you?
God, you really gotta put me on the hot seat.
Why not? You putting him on the hot seat? Like PG and Kawhi go down.
Okay.
Or you lose one. You lose PG or Kawhi. And you don't get the Western Conference Finals. That's still that's a fireable offense to you still.
Yes.
Cold world. Listen, Ty. As one light skin with braids to another, at least you had it in the past. I don't know about now. That's not a shot, too. That was not a shot. I promise you that was not a shot. I was really trying to give you your flowers, my boy. I swear to you, I was trying to give you your flowers. Just know hey, look, listen. As my man Woody said off Toy Story, you got a friend in me, champ. So, please, no, you're not on the hot seat for me, especially if your boy is injured again. Because your play is made of duct tape and BS glue. I don't know what to tell you. So I feel bad for you. And they don't like you. I'm certain the 76ers would love to have you. But Chris is not rocking with you. So I'm assuming other people might not too. So I'm wishing you the best. But I will say, from a sports fan,
I say
it don't sound like it. Don't sound like don't even lie to him like that. Don't even lie. Matter of fact, this is the transition on to the last team, ladies and gentlemen. And we're gonna talk about the Suns. And I know you don't love that, man, because you said, and I quote, you wanted to talk about the Suns last, not the Kings, not the Warriors, not our Lakers, nor the Clippers. You said you want to talk about the Suns last.
I do.
So you know what? Not Tyronn Lue. He was lying to you about loving your Clippers. Because the Suns, he said, got more precedent, got a little more cachet, got a little more priority than your Clippers. So you know what, Chris, brother, flow is yours. So spotlight. What you want to talk about with your son, with the Suns? I'm gonna give you 30 seconds before I actually go into my take, which is the Suns. Is their depth an issue, or is it actually sufficient? That's what we're going to be talking about. So as long as you don't address that question in your soliloquy, we cool. Oh, well, then, okay. So now my thing is this, since we're going ahead and have this right up here, the depth issues, or actually, is this sufficient? Because when we're talking about here the Phoenix Suns, right? It's actually not that bad of a team, Chris. You got KD, you got D-Book, you got Bradley Beal. Let's see here. Who else we got? I'm trying to pull up the roster as we speak.
Okoku. I mean, you got.
I'm pulling up the roster as we speak.
Oh, okay.
So we got. Actually, no. Let me go to the next season. That was last season. Oh, this internet really want to run slow today. That's so crazy. All right, well, while it's pulling up, at least we got last year's roster. which was campaign. Okay, yay, about daggone time. So we got here Brad Beal, Jordan Goodwin, Devin Booker, Damian Lee. Let's just pull out who I think is going to actually make the roster, right? Boom, boom, boom. I don't know if KD gonna make it. He on the fence. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on now. Drew Eubanks obviously had to come up there. Ooh. And then you know what? I like as a bookie. One. Listen, there was oh Brad Beal, of course. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then you know what? Watch Nabi was cool. Um, they got enough guard defenders right there, I think. Metu probably straight. Diop Zai, Wainwright. So essentially, this is what it looked like, Chris. This seemed like what's going to be their team. This is what I would look at. So, with that being said, is their depth really an issue? Because I mean, like, yo, the team is all right. We got Brad Beal at the helm. You got D Book. You know what I'm saying? Like these thing 1 and 2. Then you got KD. You got DeAndre Ayton. I mean, if I want another guard, I got Eric Gordon. If I want another forward with some height and length, I can get Bol and put him at the power forward spot. I got Eubanks. He's undersized, but he can play a little backup center for me if I need him to. Like, I can run zone with this team, but most importantly, on the offensive end, I'm going to have at least 2 fringe all-stars on the flow at all times. And Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and DeAndre Ayton. So for you, I say it's actually sufficient talent. And they should be able to get the job done. It'd be nice to have a little bit extra. Like if they had a legitimate point guard, I wouldn't be mad at them. A bigger big, like a bigger rim protecting big, I wouldn't be mad at him. Because, you know, Ayton cool. He hasn't shown you enough to say he had defensive presence. So I understand you say you got some trepidation. But I do believe this team is sufficient. And you might see a different Ayton this season too. What's your thoughts on the Suns? And because you said you want to talk about them last, soapbox.
Okay. The Suns. The Suns, the Suns, the Suns. If they could have kept a point guard, I mean, it don't have to be like CP3, whatever. They can just keep like a solid point guard. They can literally come out of the West easily. But when your big 2, big 3, or big 4 gets into foul trouble, who's going to be the next man up? That's why I feel like their bench is not going to hurt them in the regular season, but when you get into foul troubles in the playoffs, who can you really trust on when it gets thick? And also, you got a brand new coach. So how's the brand new coach and those 4 players, including 2 All Stars and 2 French All Stars, how is all of that is going to mix? That's it.
Well, I think so you brought up an interesting point. You said playoffs. Playoffs, it is a different beast, right?
It is.
But I will say in terms of playoffs, rotations kind of shrink as is. So as long as this team, like again, let's bring up the roster. As long as these boys can sit up there and remain healthy, Chris, specifically the 6 that I said, KD, Bradley Beal, Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, Eric Gordon, and Bol. Those 6 in particular, as long as they healthy, they cool. Because they got the talent, they got the length, they got the skill set, they have the IQ, they have the offensive potency, and they have enough defensive tenacity or defensive capability, in my estimation, to get past most teams. Like when I look at the Nuggets last season. Matter of fact, hold on. Oh my God. Please tell me I still had that up. Yeah. When I had the Nuggets last season, right? Bro, if you look at what their team was in terms of who all played in the playoffs, it was an 8-man rotation, Chris, right? But if you look at how many freaking minutes they played, like, come on now. Like, again, this is the playoffs. That's how much minutes they played. They're 8 deep. So you got 13 and then 17. So they're really running 6 deep. So again, if my boys can sit up here, and when I say my boys, I'm talking about the Suns. Oh my goodness, I just had the roster. There it goes. So if these boys can sit up there and play this well and remain that, or be this talented, be that healthy the way the Nuggets were, I can see that being something to shake. And like they also have hustlers on the team, whereas let's say a Josh Okogie, Damian Lee, right? Like to me, those type of players are those hustlers that they have. So if I'm them, I'm expecting this Sun team to have sufficient talent, sufficient depth, and I'm not going to give them like, oh, they didn't have the talent, they didn't have the team that they needed. Because I think people also forget that that Brooklyn Nets team that KD was on, it didn't really have too much outside of him, Kyrie, some good role players like Joe Harris and Steph Curry and them. Those are good role players.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you have similar situations. Eric Gordon, no slouch. Josh Okogie, he does his job. Damian Lee, a quality 3-point shooter. Also married into the family of Steph Curry, so he probably got some tricks to the trade. You know what I'm saying? Like his at minimum, his wife was probably telling him some stuff Steph were doing. You know? So like I'm sure he cool. He was shooting in the upper 30s, lower 40s. That's the same team we got over here. And that next team, they were like first or second in the East a couple of times. So this Sun team can be very scary. So I think they have sufficient talent, bro. But it sounds like you said you have question marks, which I wholeheartedly agree with, understand. I got some trepidations too. But I think they have enough to get over the hump and win that championship this season in particular. So I hear you on the trepidations. I understand you say it's a little lackluster. But it's going to be a good season overall for the Suns. As long as they're healthy, they should make a deep run into that playoff push, especially with KD. I think this is a big chip year for them, especially with D Book too. They both want it, and Bradley Beal got something to prove too. Plus, Ayton has something to prove as well. I think people will start, saying not a bust, but he not turning out to what you would have wanted. Which you get 19 points, 10 rebounds. That ain't nothing to scoff at either. But he can be a 20-point per game scorer, even a 25. Now's that time to show him. And he's at that 5-year mark, Chris. Which bigs, they usually take about 5 years to develop. So he's at that 5-6 year mark. So I like this Suns team. I think they got sufficient depth. So we're gonna see how it shakes. But I mean, ladies and gentlemen, that about covers the Western Conference. Chris, I don't know if you got anything else you wanted to add before we close up shop, but I greatly appreciate you, my boy. And as y'all know, y'all definitely see him. Y'all will see him up here again as well. Stay tuned for the Carter albums to drop. We got that coming out of the way. So he got some EPs working on them right now, but we'll have it out coming soon before long. But Chris, do you have anything you want to say for the close up shop?
Once again, bro, thank you, man. Thank you, bro.
I appreciate you. Lakers in 7 is really aggressive, by the way. I just wanted to reiterate that. That's going to be a really gruesome, tiring playoffs. I'm telling you right now. But I mean, hey, maybe if we win the championship and we do it all in 7 games, maybe Bron retires. I don't know. We'll see how it shakes. But ladies and gentlemen, please like, subscribe, comment, tell anyone about the show. My name is Trey. I'm the host of Get a Bucket. Hope you all have a good one. Take care.
did not know you guys were still here. As you can see, we're at the back end of the show. No pun intended, but look, hope you all enjoyed it. And before you go, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, follow the IG account, share the content to anybody who's anybody. And most importantly, leave your thoughts and comments below. But I gotta go back and play Buddy in 2K, so let me unmute him real quick. Excuse me. Hey, boss, I'm back. Nah, you better catch this word. You know we get buckets around here.